Pence is heading up the
Morning,
administration's task force on the virus. As far as the coronavirus and the economy, economist Steve Moore with the Heritage Foundation tells Fox News,
I think we may see some more sell-offs, but first of all, the fear of the virus is what's causing this economic chaos, not the virus itself.
And the cleanup continues in Tennessee after tornadoes ripped through the area early Wednesday morning. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Do you have an idea for an invention or new product? Do you think companies would be interested in your idea? Do you want to try to get a patent? Then call InventHelp now. InventHelp keeps your idea confidential and explains every step of the invention process. We create professional materials representing your idea and submit it to companies who are looking for new ideas. We have more than 9,000 companies who've agreed to review ideas in confidence. If a company shows interest in manufacturing your invention, we can negotiate on your behalf. We have helped over 10,000 clients receive patents. We also offer services including 3D modeling and animation demonstrating your idea, prototyping services, and we use state-of-the-art technology to show InventHelp client ideas to additional companies. Join the thousands of people just like you who chose InventHelp to pursue their idea. We are experienced. We are working for you. We are InventHelp.
Call us for free information at 1-800-460-1663. That's 1-800-460-1663. Again, 1-800-460-1663.
The mother of Hunter Biden's child is seeking to have him held in contempt of court for failing to provide mandatory documentation. London Alexis Roberts filed a paternity suit against Biden alleging he is the father of her infant child last May. A subsequent DNA test proved with scientific certainty that he in fact is the father. The original Rosie the Riveter has died.
Yeah.
USA Radio Network's John Hunt has more.
The character of Rosie the Riveter holds an iconic place in U.S. culture and embodies the can-do spirit of the American woman during World War II. Rosalind Walter, the inspiration behind the symbol, died in Manhattan at the age of 95.
Rosalind Walter
was just 19 when she volunteered
they
to
call
take
her Rosie the Riveter.
Rosie the Riveter, okay.
After being profiled in a local newspaper in 1942, songwriters Red Evans and Jacob Loeb penned the tune Rosie the Riveter and cemented Walter's place in American history. For USA Radio News, I'm John Hunt.
You're listening to USA Radio News.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates?
I don't know about my rant. I have enough.
We're gonna talk about the orange line, so that probably should be your rant right there. The orange line.
Do you have an article on that?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Yeah,
I do.
610-5739-800.
Is there straws in the truck?
That's
That's what I said, 'cause I have straws in the truck.
5739. Offers require credit qualification, early termination fee, and auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Taxes are due Wednesday, April 15th,
great.
2020.
What?
This
What?
means you
What?
need to submit your 1040
Did you
form
find
by
it?
this date, and you should pay the IRS by that deadline. But there are a lot of folks that can't pay what they owe the IRS, or sometimes people are even scared to choose to not file taxes. Dan Pilla joined CBN and says even if you do not pay your taxes, there's still a few things the IRS cannot do.
You know, first thing people need to understand, Pat, is when you're a garden variety tax debtor, you owe the money that you can't pay. Yeah. You're not going to jail, all right? So let's deal with the fear. Why not? Well, because it's not a crime to simply owe money to the IRS. Okay. It's a crime to cheat on your taxes. Okay. It's a crime to file a false return. Okay. It's a crime to lie to the IRS. All those things are true, but just simply not having the money to pay is not. It makes you broke, Pat. It doesn't make you criminal. Right?
Broke is bad, but it's not a crime.
So you're not going to jail. So let's deal with the fear. Let's get the fear out of it, okay?
Florida Republican Senator Marco Rubio says he just realized this weekend our clocks spring forward and he's not too happy about losing an hour of sleep.
Really?
It makes no sense. There's no reason to keep doing it. It's time to go permanent daylight savings and end this once and for all. We have a bill to do that. Let's see if we can get it done this year. This is stupid.
In a Twitter video, Rubio says the bill hasn't moved on Capitol Hill, so he wants Americans to call their members of Congress. For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views of WVVF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests.
That's absolutely hilarious.
Hey, Joey, what's happening? I mean, what's happening in Middleboro and surrounding towns? It's time for the Middleboro Week in Review with your host, Joey Driscoll. Stay tuned for news, Middleboro news, here on AM 1530 WVBF. Hey, Joey, what's happening?
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the March 8th edition of Middleboro in Review. It's another cold morning out there. And it's also dark outside. Today's the first day of daylight savings time. Began at 2 a.m. this morning. We have a great show for you today. We're going to talk about daylight savings time. Some interesting facts about daylight savings time. We're also going to have our regular sports segment that we usually have. We're going to talk about the Celtics, Bruins, Patriots, and also the Revolution, who have started their season over the past couple of days, and we will be talking about them as well. We're also going to be talking about the Orange Line. It's once again down. We'll talk about that as well. So we have a great show for you today, and it's going to be fun. And we are now joined by Dawn, who is here.
Morning, everybody.
How are you, Dawn?
Not bad. A little darker out this morning, huh?
Oh, your blue mic. Hold on.
Oh, blue mic. There you go.
Good?
Engineer technology going on here. Good morning, Joey. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. So, we have several different things to talk about, but the big one is the Orange Line. It's down again.
Well, not the Orange Line, the new Orange Line cars.
The new Orange Line cars.
You can't say
That's what I meant.
Line, yeah, but you can't say
I'm sorry.
It's down.
That's what I meant.
People be waiting at Washington downtown.
It's not down per se. It's just
the new car. This is the third time now.
Yes, the cars.
I think
that's
it's
what I meant.
I think it's a coupling problem this time as far as the cars being hitched together. I think that's their problems. But you know what? They got to iron out all the bugs. You don't want to have a problem, right? So I mean, we can.
We'll talk about that right now. Actually, we have an article
jump
here.
up and down all we want, but if they're pulling off the safety concerns, I applaud them. I applaud them.
So the new Orange Line trains were just temporarily pulled from service.
Third time.
Third time. This a couple days ago. So the new Orange Line trains have been temporarily taken out of service. The MBTA said Tuesday. This is an article from March 3rd. Inspectors identified a fault with the bolsters, which allow the wheels in their frames to rotate and maneuver turns in the tracks. So what that means is the trains weren't turning correctly, which is not really a great thing to have. So
it's not that's not smooth operation
at all. Right? No, that's not smooth.
But I mean, they need to iron out the bugs. I guess I don't know what. I figured they iron that out before the trains are delivered, and then I guess they have months and months. I know those Orange Line cars were tested prior to anybody riding them. I mean, so I don't. I just hope it's just one of those fluke things. I hope that isn't like a testament of all the new MBTA cars that are coming, because it's coming from the same place in Springfield, which is great that they're being made in Massachusetts. That's great for the economy, and it's good that they're being made. And I'm not sure who makes them. I'm not sure what the name of the company is, but they are all being made in Springfield. So hopefully it's just a few iron out the bug issues. And maybe they're just being super cautious, because you don't want to have a problem.
Yeah. Fault detection with new trains is expected during early stages of production and service, the MBTA wrote on Twitter. During this phase, we employ a high level of scrutiny to proactively address any potential issues and optimize performance for a more efficient release of future red and orange line trains.
Yeah, because the red lines. Actually, I saw a couple of red lines. I took a train ride about maybe 3 weeks ago, and where the red line trains, pretty much parked for the evening is right near Broadway in South Boston, actually. And I saw a couple of the new ones, and they're sharp looking. They're nice looking trains. I think I saw 2 of them there. So they must be on the red line. The 2 that I saw are probably on the test, probably just testing. There you go. Nice
And I'm showing a picture of the red line trains for...
Right. And they're all made of Springfield, right? 90 miles from Boston. So that's good that they're doing that. Well, you know what? They got to get it right. I know it's frustrating, and I know it's a good news story or whatnot, but I think...
It is. It's frustrating, but I know the trains are new, and they need to get the right fixes.
But now, I think... the brass is looking at whoever's building the train and says, "Look, we can't have this. We can't." Every time the trains are taken out, everyone's just rolling their eyes, and this is a news story. So I think I don't know. I think that they could try to get their act together, but I'm not saying they don't have their act together. It's just things just come up. And it's like anything that's any kind of piece of machinery, you always got to have problems, and you always got to have some situation where it needs to be improved or whatnot. So I think the things will be all right.
All right, so we have that. The orange line trains were out of service. I'm not 100% sure.
The new orange line trains.
The new orange line trains are out of service.
There are orange lines that are in service.
There are, yes.
I mean, the older ones from 1987 and the 80s, those orange ones. And they've been pretty dependable.
Yeah. So if you're taking the orange line, just be mindful of that. That there are just the older trains that are on right now. I haven't
had it. I rode the orange line a couple of times when I had to go to the registry, and I was hoping a new one would pull it so I could ride it, but nah, not enough of them out there.
All right, so we have weather to talk about.
Yeah, it's funny. We went right to the orange line story.
Yeah, we went to the orange line story first because I didn't have the weather up. So we have the weather up now for everybody. 21 degrees in Middleboro right now. And 22 in Taunton. So it's a little bit warmer in Taunton than it is in Middleboro at this moment. So there's your weather.
I think Taunton's technically...
For today.
Isn't Taunton technically... We're west of Middleboro, obviously. I wonder if we're technically south of Middleboro. Like, we're closer to the equator than Middleboro. That's why it's warmer.
Maybe. Maybe. So today is going to be a little bit more transportation oriented show today. We have a couple of different articles. We have an article during our sports segment about transportation as well. When it comes to a new NHL team. So we're going to talk about that. When we
get to NHL team?
Yeah, a new NHL team. The Seattle team that is going to be starting play, I believe it's next year. So we'll get into that when we talk in our sports segment coming up after the break.
I'm sure there's a lot of sleepyheads out there now with the time change.
Yes.
So we're Eastern Daylight Savings Time.
Yep.
Standard Daylight Savings Time.
Yes.
So everyone enjoy. All I can really say is I think in the fall it's more of a problem with the accidents because a lot of people go into work and say they leave at 5. When the clocks are changed in the fall, it's totally dark. So there's usually a lot of accidents and people need to adjust. It's still the same way in the spring too, but not as bad. But you got to remember that people, if they're used to leaving at 7, well, look at now, it's 7, what's it, 10 past? What's the time, yeah?
It's 17 past.
17 past, and it's, no sun.
It's starting to get light out.
But people who usually leave at a certain time, it's going to be darker. You just have to adjust everything. You just got to get your sea legs, per se, for a week or so. So all I can say is be really careful the first week or so. Watch other people. Watch for kids, okay? Because if you used to leave it at 6:45, you got a little light. But now you don't. Yeah. So the kids are still out there. Like you said, it's 7:17. No, is it overcast or I think it's I think it's the sun.
No, I think it's just
not hasn't come up yet.
Yeah, the sun hasn't come up yet. It just looks like it's overcast, but it's not.
So I say everyone just trying to be careful. Just keep that in mind. Just for the first week or so, and it takes a few days to get used to it. And then the payoff is the sun's going to go down at 6:45 instead of 5:45.
We want to remind everyone in Middleboro, we talked about this last week. Reminder, dog licenses are due at the end of the month. 2020 dog licenses are due March 31st, 2020. Get them in on time in order to avoid late fees or citations. So we just want to mention that again. We're going to be mentioning that a couple more times for another month. I think it's important to get the word out with these with all that. We want to get the word out to people.
I wonder how many people forgot to change the clocks back, right?
I'm sure there's a few.
And then everyone's showing up for work late.
Luckily, the iPhones do it automatically, so that's good. That's good. So I didn't need to do anything.
I didn't need it. Yeah, I've used my iPhone too, but a lot of people do not use their iPhones.
No, a lot of people don't. There's quite a few people that don't have iPhones. And I don't know if the phones that aren't iPhones do the daylight savings time automatically. We'll have to look that up for everybody and talk about that next week. Because I'm not sure they do or not.
I guess that's why they always do it on a Sunday.
I know the smartphones do, the iPhones, the Android phones, and all that, but I don't know if the regular phones do, like flip phones or anything. Flip phones,
Who has a flip phone?
There are people out there that still do.
I know one friend of mine has a flip phone. He was so excited he got a second flip phone for $12.
I don't know if those do the daylight savings time change automatically or not. I don't know. We'll have to look that up for everybody. All right, so it's 7:20 a.m. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. You are listening to Middleboro in Review on 99.7 FM, 1530 a.m. We're on TuneIn. Search up Hometown Talk Radio, and you'll find us. Also, you can listen to the audio now, and the number to reach that is 605-562-7958. So, we'll be right back here on Middleboro in Review. All right.
TJ Driscoll Construction is based in Wareham,
Sports segment next.
Serving the South Shore area and Cape Cod for 30 years. They specialize in septic repair and landscaping. Call TJ Driscoll Construction at 508-735-7966. Septic repair, new septic systems, retaining walls, foundations, and excavation, lawn installations, tree and shrub
Surprise.
installations. TJ Driscoll Construction. Again, the number is 508-735-7966. Call them today. You will not be disappointed.
Hi, this is Jim Larkin. Hope you can join me every Sunday from noon to 2 o'clock here on WVBF, The Sounds of the Emerald Isle. We'll have some great Irish music, some folk, traditional, country, and contemporary, and sometimes some live singers in the studio. And to make you laugh, some Irish comedy. That's Sundays from noon to 2 right here on WVBF, 1530 Taunton, Middleboro, and on the internet at hometowntalkradio.com.
Did you get a chance to talk to Jeff at all this week?
No, I haven't.
DK Driscoll
He's
Mobile
up, right?
Services is a
I
company
believe
to
so.
call to get any
Well, I'm gonna
cleanup
play
you
his
may need
commercial
to do
too.
around your house.
Huh?
I'm gonna play his
any
commercial.
time of the year.
Well, of course,
You
play
can
it.
call them at 508
Well, you gotta talk to him.
725
I'm gonna try to talk to him this
They
week. I'm
remove
gonna call him.
construction debris, metals,
Call him tomorrow.
railroad ties,
And,
tires, appliances, paints,
get by there
and much, much
at
more.
some point.
Like concrete, brick, asphalt, yard removal, brush, logs, and leaves. Also basements, attics, garages, houses, and property in general. Again, the number is 508-725-2334. Call them today. You will not be disappointed in DK Driscoll Removal Services. Spark Street Auto Body, located at 48 Spark Street in Brockton, Massachusetts, offers the highest quality collision repair and complete auto service for your car. They are a direct repair shop for all major insurance companies. You can reach them at 508-583-1495. They are open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5, and 8 to 4 on Fridays. Call them today. You will not be disappointed. 508-583-1495.
197.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. With honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Your red mic, right? Wait, blue mic. You're gonna move it up to you.
Yeah, they can hear me. I got a nice voice.
Alright, fine.
I'm not gonna say too much here this segment. This is sports, so what am I gonna say?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. And we're back here on Middleboro in review. March 8th, 2020 is the date. It's pretty cold outside, but, you know, it's gonna get warmer out as we go along today and over the next couple of days. We're supposed to hit 60 this week. It's gonna be very nice over the next couple of days. So we have our sports segment next. And we have several different things to talk about with the sports segment today. We have March Madness coming up, which actually starts next Sunday. It's coming up really quickly. Next Sunday is Selection Sunday, where they'll pick all the teams who will compete in March Madness. March Madness is always a fun time during the college basketball season.
It lasts all month.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yep. And then they have the championship in April. I don't know if I have a favorite to win this time around. I'm not gonna predict anything, because anything can happen in March Madness. That's why they call it March Madness, because it gets pretty crazy.
Perfect name, right?
Yep, it gets pretty crazy. So I'm not gonna predict anything. I don't know who's gonna win. So we're just to find out. Selection Sunday is next Sunday, March 15th. So that's going to be something interesting to watch on TV.
The Ides of March?
Yes, the Ides of March. We're going to be talking about that next week. Next week is the date. March 15th marks the date of Julius Caesar's assassination. We're going to talk about that next week. We'll have some things to say about that. We'll have some things to say about Ides of March altogether. So we're gonna be talking about that next week. So the Celtics have a game tonight against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma is 39-24 against the Celtics 42-20. So both teams are really, really good. So this is gonna be a battle tonight. Maybe we'll see an overtime game. I don't know. We'll have to see. Then we had the Pacers after that on Tuesday, which is another tough game. The Pacers are very, very good. And then the Milwaukee Bucks on Thursday, which is probably the toughest game of the week. Milwaukee has been extremely good this season. Milwaukee is definitely a contender for the championship. So they are a very good team this year. So that is the Celtics' upcoming 3 games. We have the Bruins, who had a tough loss last night against Tampa Bay. They fought hard, but they did lose 5-3 against Tampa. They have a chance to get a win against the Philadelphia Flyers on Tuesday, and then look to continue the momentum on Friday against Buffalo. Hopefully they can win the next 2 games. These look like good games over the next couple of days. And then the New England Revolution have started their season with a 1-1 tie against the Chicago Fire. I did not watch the game, but I heard that it was a really, really good game and ended up in a tie. So that is our sports segment. We do have another article pertaining to sports, but it's also transportation related. And we're going to get to that in just a few minutes. But we're going to switch gears and we're going to talk about an election that's coming up in Middleboro. We have an election April 4th, 2020, the annual town election. And we have several different boards.
It's for Middleborough, right?
Yes, Middleborough.
Yep.
We have several different boards and committees that are up for re-election, several different seats. We have 2 Board of Selectmen seats, 2 selectmen for 3 years. So we have 2 seats up for re-election, and those are 3 years. Those are 3-year terms. We have 1 Gas and Electric Commission seat, and that's a 3-year term. 2 school committee seats, and that is a 3-year term. We have 1 Board of Assessors seat, and that is a 3-year term. We have a Finance Committee seat, 1 for 2 years and 2 for 3. And we have 1 Planning Board seat for 5 years.
5 years?
5 years, yes. 5 years. Park Commission, there's 2 seats for 3 years. And Housing Authority, 1 for 5 years. So those are the seats that are going to be on this annual town election.
So you're going to see a lot of signs out for different candidates driving around Middleboro.
Yep.
And give you an idea who is running, who your favorites are. And I'm sure everyone's got to have their spiel, why they should be elected or re-elected or whatnot. But that is the grassroots of government when it comes to town elections. It really is. It's the beginning.
Absolutely, and elections are extremely important to have in a town.
Right. I mean, most people just vote in the presidential election, but state elections and local elections are very important too. A lot of people who are senators and congressmen and I think even presidents, maybe, started at a local level.
Yes.
And there are Board of Selectmen members who tried to get into like state reps and state senates, and they work their way up the ladder, just serving the public as best they can, and that's commendable in my opinion. That's and it's not a paid. They don't get paid either. A lot of these, I mean, I know the Board of Selectmen in Middleborough don't get paid, right? It's called volunteer, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Don't quote me on that, right?
Don't quote me on that. I believe so. All right, so we are switching gears right back to our transportation part of the show. We have quite a bit to talk about when it comes to transportation. Seattle's NHL team that will be starting play, I believe, next year. So they announced that they're going to provide fans with free public transportation to games, which is big, that is absolutely awesome for them to do. Seattle's unnamed team wants to get you to games for free. So they don't have a team name yet. They're going to. I believe it's going to happen this summer that they're going to announce the team name. They're already working on the stadium. I've seen videos of the stadium the rendering of what the stadium will look like. It's a pretty nice stadium. So, Seattle's new NHL team will be the third sports franchise in the country to offer free public transportation to their games, according to a report from Fast Company. The yet-to-be-named Seattle franchise joins the NBA's Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors. We are a very environmentally focused city, said Ron Johnson, NHL Seattle's Vice President of Transportation and a former Seattle City Council member and transit advocate, to Fast Company. One of the best ways for us to reduce our environmental footprint is to get people onto public transit and reduce the number of folks that are driving. The public transportation will be a part of the city's new light rail extension that is set to be completed in 2021, which is the year NHL Seattle is expected to enter the league for its first full regular season. Of course, it's not just about the environment. Johnson also told Fast Company that he wanted to keep the maximization of the fan experience in mind when making this decision, referring to the outdoor Kings Avalanche game where traffic was so bad fans demanded refunds to how much of the game it forced them to miss. We are very cognizant of the fact and that fan experience impact, Johnson says, and we're starting to hope that other sports franchises are going to be cognizant of that fact too, and start to really encourage a lot more transportation choices, particularly when they exist.
Can I butt in my 2 cents here?
Absolutely.
Now, they're talking about the fans who are complaining that they missed some of they wanted refunds.
Yes.
I would have given a penny a refund. It's up to them to get there on time. Think about it.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a city. There's a sporting event going on, and it's probably, if I'm not sure if it was during the week or whatnot, you got business. Leave earlier. Maybe take public transportation. Not everyone's going to take public transportation, obviously. There's people who've never set foot on a bus or a train in their lives, and they never will. But that is a good concept because you'll get people. But the thing is, how are they going to do it? I mean, if you show them a ticket, you get free. What about the guy who's just going to work? Does he get the ride free? Or I think public transportation should be free across the board. I think the taxes should cover it. I really think if they rain down on spending waste, they could do it. And more people would ride public transportation if it was free, if it was totally free. Because you think about, if it's free, all that wear and tear on the bridges and everything, and the roads would be minimized, and then they should get their money back. Because right now, riding the commuter rail's pricey. If you live in Middleboro and you going to Boston, I know it's over $300 for, and then plus your $5 a month day parking. That's if somebody doesn't cut your catalytic converter out, which happened to a friend of mine. But whatever, you know. MBTA, that was a slew of that going on a few years ago. It happened to me. Not at the MBTA station, but at my personal shop. But it happened to a friend of mine, and whatever. And I think it should be free. I think public transportation should be free. Period.
I agree.
That's my opinion.
I agree.
Park everything. Figure it out. Put the money towards it. Because if you take all those cars off the road, the roads are not going to need to be fixed as much. If you can ride into Boston for free, everyone's going to take it.
Yes, and public transportation is going to become very important, and it already is when you talk about cities and getting to events, and not just sporting events. Talk about concerts. Well, there's going to be a lot of concerts this summer at Fenway. There's going to be concerts at Gillette, and you're going to want to take public transportation for that.
But even the train that goes to Foxborough, that's a pricey train. It's a lot of money to get out there. And I heard too, if you have a pass, say you have a monthly pass you bought for $300 something, you can't use it on the special trains. They want that cash. It's a cash revenue. It's cash revenue. It's a moneymaker. And I don't think free transportation is ever going to work. I don't think it's ever going to do it, but they need to maybe really reduce it at certain times. I work in Quincy. I'm in Quincy a lot, and I see a lot of those Quincy T-buses riding around empty. It's just not enough people ride them for what it's putting out for the manpower and the fuel and everything else. They just need more. I don't know. I think at least, maybe not the commuter rail, but I think at least the rapid transit system and the bus system should be free. Take the gates down. More people would ride. If they knew they're getting a free ride, and people love free, more people would be taking the bus. And if they only streamline the bus routes better, I think more people would ride them. But you go to Quincy, you look at I grew up in Quincy, so the bus routes have not changed. They added a couple new ones. They extended some. They haven't changed since I was a kid. Since I was 12 years old. I'm 53 now. So, I don't know. Maybe they should look at the bus routes and make them better.
Yes.
I really do. It's such a cumbersome way they go. I know they cover the city centers and it'd be tough to, but where I work in Quincy, it took them a year to move a bus stop.
Yeah.
A year to longer than that, because the bus stop was where we were backing the oil trucks.
Yeah, it was right next to where you were.
Right, and it was I thought it was dangerous. I was always, every time I
It is. It's
backed
very
in,
dangerous.
they finally moved it. It took them a year. It just takes a year to move a bus stop. We submitted it. They wanted it. They had to do a study. It's just to move a bus stop. I don't know, a couple thousand feet down the road.
Yeah.
It was so much hoops to jump through. It's crazy. But they finally moved it. I was thinking to myself, like, even 3 weeks ago, they're still out in front of the shop, waiting, leaning on all the cars. Well, whatever. We never said anything about that. But they finally moved it when the bus blew by the guy, and the guy started running up the street. So they must have got the memo, but it was a year. They need to be able to streamline things, I think, set the routes up better. I think if they did that and they made it more streamlined and had more express buses, I think more people would be on board. Even a couple T buses from Quincy Center or even Quincy Adams to take you right into Boston.
Yeah.
To some areas where the red line doesn't connect. Instead of the slow roll. I mean, maybe you can keep those routes too, but I think you need some express routes. You need to attract more riders, and they need to really figure out how to do that. Because if it's somebody doesn't want to jump in the line and then it's doing the whole loop around Quincy or Braintree, and it takes it. They want more express buses, people. That's my rant.
Yes, that's very important. And we'll see how the free public transportation works out for the Seattle hockey team when they start off.
Maybe that's a test case to do it total. I know one city out there soon is gonna try it. They're gonna be the test case for the whole country. And if it works and it's successful and there's a noticeable amount of traffic and vehicles, think about it. The emissions would be just cut down big time. People wouldn't be sitting. That's the worst thing in the world is idling in your car, sitting in traffic on Route 24.
Yes.
From Harrison Boulevard to 128, 25 minutes.
Sometimes more.
Sometimes more.
Yep.
And that lane merge, it's not even a merge, it's when the lane merges down to one lane. I don't think that was too smart doing it that way. They went from 2 lanes to 1. That's only gridlock. Whatever. That's another rant for another day.
All right, so we gotta take a break. We're a little bit behind on the break. 45, 7:45. No, not way behind.
No, I think you're right on the money there, Joe.
Well, I took a break at 7:20, so I'm behind when it comes to a break.
All right, time to pay those bills.
Yep, it's time to pay the bills. We will be back where you are listening to 1530 AM, 99.7 FM, Middleboro in review.
WVBF.
WVBF. Great show. Great show.
Yeah,
People listening. Hey, everybody.
How many?
There was as much as 5 on the show. That's the most I've gotten.
Anybody who's watching me on Facebook Live, there is all drinks, liquids belong on the shelf. Take them something. I am totally obeying the rules of no drinking console time. I'm standing over here in my corner.
Yeah.
I had first sip of coffee all morning. It's time for you to take a little break.
We'll have some great Irish music, some folk, traditional, country, and contemporary. And sometimes
all right, well, we're going to have a little...
I dropped those straws on the ground. That's why.
Oh, okay.
And then I found an extra one. Hey, Joe.
Yes?
I'm going to move this before I
Oh, okay, yeah. So we're going to have a little daylight savings time talk when we get back,
Oh, yeah.
we're gonna talk about some interesting facts about daylight savings time. And then we're gonna have our Today in History.
725-2334. They remove construction debris, metals, railroad ties, tires, appliances, paints, and much, much more.
Much more.
Much more.
Did you do Spark Street Auto Body?
Yard removal.
Yeah.
My brother stove?
Lawns
Yeah.
and leaves. Also basements.
You didn't do that motorcycle thing, did you?
Garages.
I did.
Houses and property in general.
Boy.
Yeah.
Again,
You get a log?
is
Did Chris give you a log?
508-725-2334.
No.
Call them today. You will not be
I've
disappointed.
been following the log.
In DK Driscoll.
Shoot for all logs.
I've been following the log.
Yeah, you'll be talked to if you're not.
Spark Street Auto Body, located at
8th of
48
March.
Spark Street in Brockton, Massachusetts, offers
Who do we
the
got
highest
for
quality
birthdays
collision
here?
repair and complete auto
We
service
got a whole
for
bunch
the
of
car.
birthdays.
They are a direct repair shop for all major insurance companies. You should reach them at 508-583-1495.
Villanova, what's that mean?
Monday through
Villanova.
Thursday, 8 to 5.
Stephanie Fells? Who's that?
On Fridays. Call them today.
Stephanie
You will not
Fells.
be disappointed.
Villanova.
508
Villanova is definitely in
1495.
the conversation, Stephanie. What are we playing next?
TJ Driscoll Construction
I played this
is
yet.
based in
All right.
Brockton, Massachusetts.
Did I?
Serving the South
Oh, you
Shore
did Spark
area
Street. Was that Spark Street?
That was Spark
for
Street.
30 years. They specialize in
Okay,
septic
there we go.
repair and landscaping. Call TJ Driscoll Construction at 508-735-7966.
Oh, she did add something here.
Septic
107.
repair, septic
Okay, I gotta.
systems, retaining walls, foundations, and excavation, lawn installations, tree and shrub installations. TJ Driscoll Construction. Again, the number is 508-735-7966. Call them today. You will not be disappointed.
Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association is an association of combat veterans from all branches of the United States Armed Forces who ride motorcycles as a hobby. Our mission is to support those
When's
who
this
have
guy
defended
coming on
our
the show?
country and freedoms.
I'm gonna talk to him on
Focus is to
Tuesday.
help veteran care
We're gonna
facilities
try to get him
provide
for next
warm
Sunday's
meal,
program.
clothing,
That'd be good.
shelter, and guidance, or simply to say thank you and welcome home.
And then
We have members from nearly all 50
know
states
after
and
that.
living abroad.
gonna try to have some more guests. Gonna try to have some guests for the rest of March, up until the first anniversary of the show, which I believe that would be the April 5th edition. April 5th, the edition will probably be the. We'll mark the 1 year anniversary. April 7th not on a Sunday this year, so.
Then just do it the following because it's over a year. Get a year in.
Well, it's no. Well, the 5th is closer. The only reason why I'm doing that is the 5th is closer. The 5th is a lot closer.
But you want to say over a year. You want to have a year done.
Alright.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know?
I understand. I hear you on that. I hear you on
You
that.
made the year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I understand.
You got, you know, you didn't get fired, you made the year.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
don't have the year.
Exactly, yeah.
Visit
I understand.
underagedata.samhsa.gov.
Alright, so it'll be April 12th.
Every month in America, a police officer takes his or her
Is this new? Is this a new PSA?
Yeah, it was on my it's on my log.
Oh, great.
This is our message to you. Each year, we lose more officers to suicide than by any other means.
Who signs these, Chris?
Yeah.
Officers
That's
are
good.
I think so.
Good thinking.
I will listen.
Yeah.
He's a great program director. He really is. You couldn't ask for a better person.
Brothers and sisters struggle in silence. I will listen.
The loss of an officer tears us all apart. I will listen.
Remember, you're not alone. I will listen.
These officers have been lost, but not forgotten. End the stigma from seeking help today.
Call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255. A message from the Taunton Police Department and WVBF.
Ali said hi.
Hi, Ali.
Who's Ali?
Not sure.
We'll find out. Yeah.
And welcome back to Middleboro in review for March the 8th, 2020. And by the way, next month, a little early to be talking about this, but next month will mark the 1 year anniversary of the show.
Of this show.
Of the show. Yeah, of this show. Middleboro in Review.
Wow.
I believe we'll be marking the 1 year anniversary on April 12th. On the April 12th edition of Middleboro in Review.
It just goes to show, I mean, you've been working on this show for a year, and it's definitely getting a little grab. It's getting some people. For the time frame, 7 in the morning, you build a show, you work it in. You get a listening audience who want to listen to pretty much what the show's all about.
Yes.
Time's tough, but once people know, because there was never really anything as far as the year and a half prior, you always worked Sundays, and there was nothing. You started at 8. You started with the religious programming on Sundays, so Tony squeezed in between 7 and 8, and there's a lot of early birds out there too. There's a lot of people sleep in and they're not catching the show.
Yeah.
But a lot of people catch it on Facebook.
And there have been a lot of people on the Facebook Live today.
A lot of people are loyal to
a lot
the
of
show.
people.
And we thank all of them.
Thank you guys.
Every single
Thank
one
you
of them.
everybody. Thank you everybody.
And all the sponsors too who have sponsored the show over the last year. So it's close to it, the last 11 months. I want to thank them too. To having taking a chance on a new show, and it's always a risky thing, but we're hanging in there. We're here every Sunday, and hopefully everyone enjoys the show, and we love doing it. I love coming here on Sunday.
Yes, me too.
People love to sleep in, but I'd rather get up here and get in here and have a few laughs and talk about a few things and educate people maybe, and it's been a great experience for me working for Joey, because technically he's my boss.
So I'm going to ask you a question.
Oh no, what?
I'm going to ask you a question when it comes to daylight savings time.
You asking me, or you asking the audience?
No, you.
Oh, okay.
And the audience, if they want to call in, 508-822-1106. What are the states and territories that do not observe daylight savings time?
Now, I'm sure you got the answer right in front of you, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I don't know any of the territories, number one, okay? But as far as the states, I think Arizona doesn't do it. And parts of Indiana. Parts of Indiana. Not all of Indiana, parts of Indiana. And I have no clue why, or rhyme or reason why that's happening, but what do you got there in your...
Well, you did get Arizona.
All right, Arizona stays on standard time, right?
Yes, there is someone, there is a group of people who do in Arizona that do observe the daylight savings time. What is that? Who is that?
It's the Navajo Nation.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Yes, it is.
And they observe that. But they go over state lines too. I think they're in Utah and parts of Mexico.
Yeah.
I'll double check the map, but most of it's in Arizona.
Hawaii is also a state that does not observe daylight savings time.
Okay.
U.S. territories of Puerto Rico, Guam, American Samoa, and the U.S. Virgin Islands do not either.
Oh, wow.
So?
What about Indiana? Do you have the Indiana clause there?
Let's see, does it mention Indiana here? I don't think so.
Maybe they
It
was
doesn't
changed back.
mention Indiana here.
No?
I don't think. I'm just looking right at it.
You know what? When you're doing your history, I'll look it up because I swore Indiana. Some parts of Indiana do not. But they could've
Speaking of the Today in History, let's do that right now. We're about 57 after 7. About 3 minutes before the top of the hour, and we're gonna do the Today in Histories. So we have 2 Today in Histories to talk about today. The first one we have is 1576. Spanish explorer Diego Garcia de Palacio first sights the ruins of the ancient Mayan city of Copan. In 1817, the New York Stock Exchange is founded. We have a couple of birthdays. We have, in 1953, Jim Rice, American baseball player, coach, and sportscaster. He played for the Red Sox. Very, very famous Red Sox player. Clive Burr, English rock drummer, was born on this date in 1957. 1958, Gary Newman, English singer-songwriter, guitarist, and producer. And we have a couple of deaths to talk about. 1874 on this date, Millard Fillmore, American lawyer and politician, 13th President of the United States. And Kate Wilhelm passed away on this date in 2018. She was an American author. So, did you find?
I gotta, you know what? We don't have time. Indiana's a mess when it comes to because they have central and eastern time zones right through the state. And I think there's a few counties that have it, and a few that don't. But I need to research this more because, as far as I think it has something to do with because the time zone between central and east run right through the state, or it affects just a few counties. So when time changes happen.
Yep.
I don't know. I just think I don't know. I gotta read this. Confusion stopped in 2008. Daylight saving time. Daylight saving time. Confusion stopped in 2006. So what's that mean? I don't know. I'll read up on it and I'll get the skinny on that. And
Indiana.
Right in the middle. But I they said something about 2000. They must have had some changes. And there's been changes too because it used to always be April.
Yeah.
So maybe 2006 was the time when we pushed it to March, or started in March, and then March to November technically because it was always October.
All right, so that'll do it for the March 8th edition of Middleboro in Review.
Time's up.
So, join us next week for the March 15th edition, the middle of March, the Ides of March.
And Joey, tell everyone to stand by for...
And also stand by for Bread of Life, which is coming up right after the news. We also have The Rosary and Father Peyton Family Theater, Keys of the Kingdom, Roger Haber's First Baptist Church program, and then Musical Odyssey at 11 o'clock, and then Sounds of the Emerald Isle at noon, and then after that, Stand Up Strong.
Yeah, it's a big day on WVBF for programming.
Have a
With
great
this show and ended with Stand Up Strong. Thank you very much and have a great week, everybody.
Have a great Sunday, everybody. All right. Awesome. Good stuff. We're on a roll here in March.
Let's see. I can't get all the people because I'm not obviously. Can I see what? Wow, that thing's flattened up like a Christmas tree, huh?
Thank you, Stephanie.
Wow.
All right.
Surprised people are up so early. Because technically we went on at 6.
Yeah.
Broadcasting live from the
Yeah.
Federal Credit Union studios at
A lot of people are probably up because of the
Did you
time
see
change.
Michelle's name? She's in Vegas, so.
I don't think I did. No.
259 DD, Middleboro Center, 99.7 FM, Hometown Talk Radio.
USA Radio News with Chris Barnes.
Vice President Mike Pence heading up the administration's response to the coronavirus outbreak in the U.S. says
Bye, everybody.
the threat of contracting